What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the news that's gone on around the secret Sony studio, as well as the secret studio that is probably, in my opinion, I'm believing it more and more every day, making an Uncharted game. Now, most of this is kind of negative. However, there has been an update to the story that's good. That's definitely a good thing that's provided good news that the studio is still around. So we're going to go through kind of the saga of what's been happening. But if you guys are new here and you do like this content, make sure, as always, you're subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. If you haven't subscribed to my second channel, Podcast Now Plus, the word plus, not the symbol, please do. Link is in the description below. And in fact, I've talked about this studio there as well. So if you want like a complete timeline of the story of this studio, videos are kind of scattered across this channel and my second channel. No matter what, just make sure you guys are subscribed, and here we go. So I'm going to be taking this from Push Square. I'm not going to read it word for word, but they kind of sum it up really nicely. There was a lot of negativity, like a lot of like bad stuff, I think, that was happening to this studio a few days ago. Actually, at the time that this guy posted this, it's actually been like 2 or 3 weeks. We're all kind of late to the story here, but there's a guy, Quentin Cobb. Hopefully I'm saying both those names right. He was one of the very first people that and one of the biggest named people that they hired very early on. He left the studio, and then a fellow senior game designer. So senior game designers, I mean, they're not the highest position in the world, but they are pretty darn high up there. John Batista, he shared last day at Sony San Diego. It was a crazy, and this is what kind of got people scared. It was a crazy ride and an amazing company, but things just didn't work out this time. That being said, I'm proud of what we were able to achieve given the craziness we went through. More news coming soon, and bonus, I get to work on my YouTube series again. Now, originally the article said, okay, well, that the way he words that is not very good in terms of like the overall thing, of this studio. And they were kind of speculating, well, are they closing down? Because the way he's talking about it is like, hey, we're trying to achieve these things in maybe like record-setting time, or like things aren't going well, and we're proud of what we were able to accomplish. He's kind of talking, and even I like kind of recognize it. He is, I feel like, talking for more than just himself, which maybe he didn't mean. I don't think he actually meant to do that, but it just comes off across as like the studio has not been doing very well. Maybe some people have left. They're not really agreeing on things, whatever it may be. That, to me, is what he's hinting at. I do think, by the way, part of that is true. But, even back then, even when he posted this, there's still, like, LinkedIn, accounts that have people that say, hey, we're still working there. So the studio isn't closed. And then he issued a statement. Now, funny enough, again, he originally said this, that, his last day there was November 11th. So this is November 29th. So he just did this yesterday. And he said, just to clarify, I made the decision to move on due to my own personal circumstances. The studio is still there, and the project is still ongoing. Now, again, this is a studio that a lot of people are connecting to Naughty Dog, mainly because they're hiring so many former, ex-Naughty Dog employees. The game is supposed to be like a third-person action-adventure game, so a lot of people made the jump to Uncharted. I do think this is Uncharted. I guess last bit of background of the studio, if you guys don't know, originally, I think they even call it somewhere in here, it's like a visual arts team. Originally, the studio was designed for like engine making. They were designed to kind of optimize things, and they help out all of Sony. This was not, when it was first started, designed to be a actual studio that makes games. They changed it, they hired a lot of people, and they've made it a studio that makes games. Now, again, the funny thing is, Sony has never mentioned them officially as a studio. So, like, you go on their website, you look at all the studios say that Sony owns that are making games: Insomniac, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog. This studio is not there. They don't recognize this studio, and still, to right now, as of when I'm recording this, they still haven't recognized the studio, even though it's very clear people have been hired. It's very clear people are working on things. And then a senior, whatever this guy was again, a senior game designer literally comes out and confirms, well, he was working on something. It's kind of been hectic, and they're still working on it right now. So, good news, bad news. I mean, the good news is that this is still happening. I was actually getting scared as well. I've talked about my love of Uncharted and how much Uncharted means to me, and that's my favorite game franchise, and Uncharted 4 is my favorite game. I mean, I have conflicting thoughts to even continuing the franchise in general. I mean, I do really want to see it. At the same time, it was ended so perfectly that you don't need to pick it back back up, but I understand why you would. Does Nate show up? Does he not? I mean, there's all those discussions, and I feel like my answer has always been kind of back and forth because I'm not really sure how I feel. However, when I saw this news, even in my pessimistic head, right, I started going through, oh shoot, maybe it is closing, and what does that mean for this, this Uncharted game? That means it would never, come to light. And I got pretty, it gets me kind of sad. So I think the overall answer is I do want this game. I do want to see what the studio is doing, and I want us to go from there. That's kind of my opinion on it. So I guess good news in that it's still happening, and I think we will still get a game from it. Now, they've been doing it for like a year and a half. I think like last summer is when so summer of 2019 is when they really started hiring like tons of people. So this project is still early. I think it's still got another, let's say, like 2-ish years to go. So it's not coming out anytime soon. However, again, the negative thing, one more time what he says, it was a crazy ride and an amazing company. I mean, that's good, but things just didn't work out this time. Now, again, when you read that without context, it kind of comes across as like the game didn't work out. But I feel like because he said like it was his own personal reasons, we don't know who he is. We don't know what is going on with his family. We don't know what's going on with his life. So I feel like when he says things didn't work out this time, I feel like it's just literally him to the company. That being said, I'm proud of what we were able to achieve given the craziness we went through. So that to me is a little worrisome, that there's a lot of craziness there, that maybe because it was a studio that wasn't designed for games and now it is designed for games, and they're just kind of plugging in. I feel like that makes sense, right? You're not getting like a bunch of misfits because you're getting people that have worked at very high companies, even like Naughty Dog, right? But you don't have a studio already set. So like when you're Naughty Dog and you're hiring, say, like 50, 60 jobs, I mean, that's still a ton, but you already have your company. You already have leadership. You already have your entire team, and you're adding on to it. So you already have that foundation, so it's easier for everything to work. When you're starting, and I mean, this is kind of common, right? When you're starting something from scratch, there's no building blocks. There's no foundation. They're like, he's a senior game designer. Sometimes senior game designers are around in the company for 10, 15, 20 years, okay? But he was just plucked in. So when you have that situation happening, you have all these people from all these different companies coming in to work on one specific thing. And again, like if there's no leadership, there's nobody already there. And there were people there, but again, they weren't there to make games. So really, you could almost pretend like they weren't there at all. You know what I mean? So I do see how it can do something. But again, what we were able to achieve considering the craziness we went through. More news coming soon. I mean, I do think the game is okay. It's probably not the greatest of developments. However, Sony, in general, Sony's done pretty well with handling their teams and giving them as much time as they need. Hopefully it's not like a Halo Infinite situation, but I do think given enough time, give them as much time as again, a game like this, you do not rush, right? So hopefully everything's okay there. Again, it was, I would say, way, way more negative news. Now it's a little bit more positive, although I think there are still some concerns about, how they're doing it, in all, if this project is going to end up really, really well. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think they're making the Uncharted game? What do you think is going on at that studio? Let me know. Again, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Like I said, if you want to subscribe to my second channel, Podcast Now Plus, plus is in the word, not the symbol. Link is in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.